You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for audiobook news read by Sarah, featuring AudioFile magazine. And today we're going to start off with some mystery and suspense titles, and some titles from Janice Hallett, starting with a review of The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels, by Janice Hallett, read by Kristen Atherton, Annie Aldington, Neko Okoye, Gareth Armstrong, and Sid Sagar. This marvellous audiobook unfolds through a series of emails complete with verbal emojis, a narrator's challenge. Kristen Atherton gives a knockout performance as journalist Amanda Bailey, who is investigating the malevolent cult of the Alperton Angels. Years ago, they attempted to persuade a teenage mother to sacrifice her baby, but then the infant disappeared. Sid Sagar portrays Amanda's journalist friend who wants to help her in hopes of horning in on her success. There is an overabundance of graphic violence tied to the cult, and suspense builds as the two reporters don't see the danger. Neko Okoye is Amanda's street-smart assistant, Gareth Armstrong is the cult leader, and Annie Aldington as the murder club president provide plot twists and turns. All involved create a superbly choreographed performance. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 10.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-179-716-7046 for $23.99. And other titles from Janice Hallett include The Appeal, by Janice Hallett, read by Daniel Philpott, Aisha Kayla, Rachel Adediji, and Sid Sagar, available unabridged from Simon & Schuster Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. The Christmas Appeal, read by Aisha Kayla, Daniel Philpott, Rachel Adediji, and Sid Sagar, available unabridged again from Simon & Schuster Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. And finally, The Twyford Code, read by Thomas Judd, available from Simon & Schuster Audio, unabridged, Trade Edition Digital Download. The Atlas Maneuver, Cotton Malone, Book 18, by Steve Berry, read by Scott Brick. In this 18th entry into Berry's best-selling Cotton Malone series, narrator Scott Brick shepherds the new adventure with perfect pacing and emphasis. A CIA investigation into a stockpile of World War II Japanese gold stashed in Luxembourg's Bank of St. George pushes retired Justice Department operative Malone out of his Copenhagen bookstore and back into action babysitting the pile. Brick portrays Malone and the cast of international villains with an authoritative and emotive delivery. A woman at the bank is threatened, and Malone discovers she's living under an alias and is a former lover. Brick ratchets up the tension in his delivery as Malone uncovers a vast cryptocurrency conspiracy. It's available from Hachette Audio, 13.25 hours unabridged. Trade Edition Digital Download, ISBN 978-154-916-3876 for $25.98. Anna O. by Matthew Blake, read by Dan Stevens, Hannah Curtis, Sarah Cullum, and Christine Rendell. Hannah Curtis, Sarah Cullum, and Christine Rendell, led by the incomparable Dan Stevens, skillfully deliver this extraordinary, twisty novel. One night, Anna Ogilvy, a young wannabe writer, inexplicably stabs 2 people to death while sleepwalking. She hasn't woken up since the crime. Stevens' portrayal of Anna's psychiatrist, Ben, a specialist in sleep-related homicides, carries much of a narrative. Stevens delivers it with cool reserve, allowing the listener's imagination to lock on to this remarkable mystery. He adds depth to Anna's plight and Ben's mission to awaken her so she can stand trial for her crimes. As Anna's and Ben's secrets are revealed, Stevens ratchets up the tension. Curtis, Cullum, and Rendell also enhance this unreal-seeming but plausible story. It's available from Harper Audio, 12 hours long, unabridged. Trade Edition Digital Download, ISBN 978-006-3314177 for $23.99. Jazz Club Spy by Roberta Rich, read by Helen Laser. Helen Laser transports listeners to New York City in 1939 to hear the story of jazz club cigarette girl Giddy Brodsky who is determined to make a success of her new life in America after a horrific pogrom forced her family to flee Russia. Laser's excellent characterization and spot-on timing build tension as Giddy has a chance encounter with one of the Cossacks who carried out the pogrom. She then finds herself acting as a spy on behalf of the Chief Commissioner of Immigration, who also has an interest in finding the man who caused her family so much pain. Laser's use of a Russian accent creates authentic-sounding characters. Her portrayal of Giddy as a strong, brave woman is notable. The result is a thrilling and suspenseful listen. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 7.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-179-717-1609 for $17.99. The Bad Weather Friend by Dean Koontz, read by Ray Chase. Ray Chase performs an unusual story of good versus evil centered on the nicest man in the world. Benny Catspaw is a nice guy who can't hold a negative thought in his head, to his detriment. But then his life starts falling apart, and a large crate arrives containing a 7-foot-tall bad weather friend. Chase's portrayal suits the jaunty character well, shifting between humorous and ominous to great effect. Even during dramatic violence, Chase's depictions keep the story engrossing. Often Koontz breaks the fourth wall, but Chase never breaks character. With a performance that careens from funny to horrifying and back again, Benny's story is engaging and a wonderful deviation from Koontz's usual style. It's available from Brilliance Audio, 8.75 hours, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-149-159-6784 for $35.99, also available as CD or MP3. The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, read by Dan Bittner, Eliza Foss, John Piralla, and Patty Murin. An ensemble of narrators enhances this thriller's absorbing quality. Ruby has been shrouded in mystery since she was abducted at the age of 4 and returned to her family 8 months later. In a series of letters, Ruby discusses the abduction, her wealth, and 4 deceased husbands. In alternating points of view, listeners learn why Ruby's son Cam is reluctant to claim his inheritance and why his wife Jules is eager to embrace change. Eliza Foss gives Ruby a southern drawl and a regal air, her voice softening as Ruby describes her favourite husband. Patty Murin uses a chipper tone suiting upbeat Jules. Perfect as Cam, Dan Bittner increases his pace and volume during tense moments. John Piralla provides news reports in a clear voice. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 8.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-125-032-8786 for $19.99, also available as CD. And we now move on to Learning by Ear, and first a word from our reviewer, Tom Walken. Inspiration and options for living. Like many people, I spend much of my day on automatic pilot, running through the usual home routines, driving to the usual places, and dealing with the usual frustrations I have with politics, other people, and myself. I have decent control of my behavioral habits, especially health practices, which you can't overlook during the high-maintenance years of later life. Thinking habits are another matter, harder to change because most of us are not aware of them until we're called out by our partners, friends, and mostly well-meaning others. When it comes to attitudes, do I need to remind any of you about the old dog new tricks rule? But I'm pleased to report that I haven't noticed much resistance to the new information I get from audiobooks I hear every month. One title in this cycle that continues to resonate with me is The Other Significant Others, written and read with graceful confidence by Raina Cohen. I was moved in unexpected ways by what I learned from Cohen's well-documented look at friendships. She helped me see how close friends can be as important to a good life as romantic partners. These and many other audiobooks inspire me to remember that my cerebral hard drives are still accepting new programs and data on options for living, connecting with others, and having perspective about my place in the universe. Good listening and bon courage. And now for the reviews. The Cure for Burnout by Emily Ballesteros, read by Emily Ballesteros. The burnout expert and personal balance coach narrates in a gentle manner that will help all kinds of overly busy people absorb her foundational advice on finding more enjoyment in life. She balances her assertive tone and professional-sounding enunciation with audible respect for her listeners, an inviting combination that promotes openness to learning. Her research summaries and impressive thinking about burnout are focused on avoiding the excessive personal costs of overwork and creating more life balance and joy. She's crafted an effective blend of practical strategies and tools for clarifying why we accept unreasonable demands on our time and energy. Her 5 approaches to fixing and preventing burnout: mindset, personal care, time management, maintaining reasonable boundaries, and managing stress, sound both actionable and intuitively valid. It's available from Random House Audio, 8.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3820506 for $17.50. Books on Tape has library edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3820513 for $66.50. The Other Significant Others, Reimagining Life with Friendship at the Center, by Raina Cohen, read by Raina Cohen. This illuminating audiobook provides clarity and a degree of legitimacy to friendships that are central to a person's life but not romantic or sexual. These relationships can take many forms, from friendships that are unusually close and time-consuming to committed relationships that involve cohabiting or even raising children. When people in these close relationships are married to others, their connections can be threatening to spouses, but the author argues that such friendships can reduce what is expected in a traditional romantic marriage. Author Raina Cohen's vocal warmth and commitment to her ideas make this a touching audiobook. Her thinking and humanitarian spirit are well served by a performance that resonates with her broad sociological perspectives, as well as her desire to connect with listeners. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 8.75 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0333025 for $26.99. The Friction Project, How Smart Leaders Make the Right Things Easier and the Wrong Things Harder, by Robert I. Sutton and Huggy Rao, read by Sean Patrick Hopkins. The latest book, by a professor of organizational behavior and a colleague, is served well by the upbeat performance of veteran narrator Sean Patrick Hopkins. Much like the principal author's speaking style, a bonus interview with Sutton and his co-author concludes the production. Hopkins's vocal enthusiasm is prominent but never detracts from the intellectual soundness of these ideas. The authors say friction is the part of any organizational process that makes work more difficult to complete. Good friction slows down processes so that people have time to be more thorough. Bad friction consists of complications that will be familiar to everyone: bloated verbiage, endless meetings, irrelevant paperwork, and self-indulgent managers. With help from the narrator's fitting performance, these are accessible ideas for addressing a rampant problem in organizational life. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 8.75 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0902481 for $19.99. Think Faster, Talk Smarter, by Matt Abrahams, read by Matt Abrahams. Communication expert and podcast host Matt Abrahams delivers useful advice on how to think on one's feet with the relaxed polish of a seasoned voice professional. With his pitch range and natural pacing, he draws listeners in with his enthusiasm. His voice and ideas sparkle with energy. The guide is intuitively organized and covers a wide range of speaking situations, such as interviews, Q&A sessions, unscripted remarks to an audience, and conversations between employees and bosses. His focus on the emotional dynamics of any speaking situation will help listeners feel more confident when faced with a speaking challenge. While his insights are sophisticated, his uncomplicated writing and smooth delivery make them sound reasonably easy to implement. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 7.25 hours long unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-179-716-3765 for $13.49. Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David and Greg Dinkin, read by Patrick Bet-David. A successful entrepreneur and podcast host, Patrick Bet-David shares the lessons he's distilled from his growth as a person and as a builder of complex, high-achieving businesses. His strong voice and audible passion provide vocal energy that matches the power and clarity of his ideas, but never makes him sound like he's over-promoting. His exercises and recommendations are broadly divided between those requiring emotion and those requiring logic. It takes hunger and desire, he says, to excel, compete, prove the naysayers wrong, and sustain the logical work of building effective practices for yourself or your organization. Knowing who your enemies are fuels that energy. Along with Bet-David's believable performance, the detailed tools he offers make this an exceptional guide for moving forward with life or business. It's available from Penguin Audio, 8 hours long unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-379-1660 for $20. Books on Tape has a library edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-379-1677 for $95. And more listening includes The Work Happiness Method, Master the 8 Skills to Career Fulfillment, by Stella Grisant, read by Winsome Brown and Stella Grisant, Essential Skills for Getting More Joy from Work and Life. Available unabridged from Hachette Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Pace Yourself, How to Have Energy in an Exhausting World, by Amy Arthur, read by Amy Arthur. Find life balance by managing your energy instead of your time. Available from Dreamscape unabridged, Trade Edition Digital Download. Level Up, How to Get Focused, Stop Procrastinating and Upgrade Your Life, by Rob Dial, read by Rob Dial. Use the science of focus and motivation to get off the couch. Available unabridged from Harper Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Look Again, The Power of Noticing What Was Always There, by Tali Sharrett and Cass R. Sunstein, read by Imani J. Powers and Byron Wagner. How to See and Know What Habituation Hides from Us, available unabridged from Simon & Schuster Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Slow Productivity, The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout, by Cal Newport, read by Cal Newport. The Middle Ground Between Draining Overwork and Total Withdrawal, available from Penguin Audio, unabridged, Trade Edition Digital Download. Books on Tape has the Library Edition Digital Download. The Ritual Effect, From Habit to Ritual, Harness the Surprising Power of Everyday Actions, by Michael Norton, read by Michael Norton. Thoughtful Ways to Connect More Fully with Our Automatic Action Patterns, available unabridged from Simon & Schuster Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Spirit of the Century, by the Blind Boys of Alabama and Preston Lauterbach, read by Phil Morris. The inspiring story of the 8-decade careers of the gospel singers, available unabridged from Hachette Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Look, How to Pay Attention in a Distracted World, by Christian Madsbjerg, read by George Newbern. Connect with the beauty in other people and your surroundings, available unabridged from Penguin Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. Books on Tape has the Library Edition, also digital download. Fluke, Chance, Chaos, and Why Everything We Do Matters, by Brian Klaas, read by Brian Klaas. How to Live Smarter and Happier Amid the Chaos Around Us, available unabridged from Simon & Schuster Audio, Trade Edition Digital Download. And now let's finish off with some biography and memoir titles. Oath and Honour, A Memoir and a Warning, by Liz Cheney, read by Liz Cheney. This memoir about the investigation into the January 6, 2021 assault on the Capitol combines an able narration by author Liz Cheney with clips of quoted material from actual sources, such as news reports and recorded speeches. As a result, the work has a sense of immediacy that cannot be duplicated in print. Because she was a long-time U.S. representative, Cheney knows how to effectively utilize the spoken word. She varies her pacing and tone nicely to fit the subject matter, but there are times it feels like she has to restrain herself from shouting about the moral cowardice of several Republican leaders. All in all, this audiobook is enlightening, even for well-informed listeners. It's available from Hachette Audio, 12.25 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-166-8635131 for $27.99. Black Friend by Ziwe, read by Ziwe. Deeply personal and persistently provocative, these episodic memoir essays are relatable and poignant. Ziwe, a rising political satirist and comedian, delivers her work with an appropriate amount of sarcasm and humor, tackling questions of race, racism, and the ubiquitous awkward moments that occur around these issues. Ziwe encourages engagement with that discomfort in an effort to help listeners experience them, and through that experience begin to unlearn deep biases. Returning time and again to the question of how many Black Friends listeners have, Ziwe provides clear insights, warmth, and humor, all of which will keep listeners coming back for more. It's available from Audible, 4.25 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download for $14.95. Being Henry, The Fonz, and Beyond by Henry Winkler, read by Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler is clearly delighted to tell his own story. He learned to live with dyslexia, understand his odd, strict parents, and succeed at doing what no one thought he could do, become an actor. Perhaps he made it so quickly because he was never told how impossible it would be for a young man with almost no professional acting experience to make it in Hollywood. Trusting in fate and his own ability, Winkler literally fell into the role of a lifetime as the Fonz on Happy Days, a week after moving to Hollywood with less than $1,000 to his name. Listening to Winkler talk about his life is a pleasure. This is a tell-all coming from the source. He discusses his shortcomings and successes with sincerity. After Happy Days ended, he went on to a respected career in television and films, and is still astounded by his own success. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 9.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0889829 for $26.99. Also available as CD. Sex with a Brain Injury, on Concussion and Recovery by Annie Leontis, read by Natalie Nordis. Natalie Nordis performs this memoir about the author's experience with a traumatic brain injury and its intense after effects. The child of Greek immigrants, Leontis had always just picked himself up and carried on, but after receiving 3 concussions in a year, Leontis grapples with migraines, memory loss, and sensitivity to light and sound. Their relationship with their wife deteriorates, and the couple begins talking about divorce. Nordis narrates Leontis' story with deep understanding of the emotional depth of a memoir. Everything from conversations to medical descriptions is given equal attention and keeps listeners' attention from start to finish. Nordis' performance enhances this engrossing story, creating a unique listening experience. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 9.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-179-717-4112 for $19.99. And that's it for me. Thank you for joining us for Audiobook News, read by Sarah.
Aftersight.
Being homeless or at risk of homelessness can be an incredibly challenging and frightening experience. Fortunately, there are a variety of resources available to help you with housing, healthcare, and food access needs. Finding a safe and stable place to stay is a top priority when you're homeless or at risk of homelessness. Here are some resources that can help. The Transitional Living Program for Youth, or TLP. This program is run by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and provides eligible youth between the ages of 16 to 22 with safe and stable living options for up to 21 months, as well as support services. To find the closest center to you, call 1-800-621-4000. That's 1-800-621-4000. 211. This nationwide resource is available 24/7 and can help you connect with local services, including housing programs, shelters, food banks, and more. To learn more about your local hotline, visit the 211 website or call 211. Projects for Assistance in Transition from Homelessness, or PATH. If you suffer from mental illness and are facing homelessness, PATH may be able to help. PATH can assist with substance abuse issues, housing services, and finding more resources in your area. To find the closest PATH program, call 1-877-726-4727. That's 1-877-726-4727. The Homeless Shelter Directory. This online directory can help you find the shelter closest to you. Visit www.homelessshelterdirectory.org.
Attention caregivers. Managing the care of a loved one requires resilience, patience, and a wealth of knowledge. To support you in this vital role, here are some essential tips to ensure effective caregiving. Prepare your space. Safety and ease of movement are paramount. Ensure your environment is adapted to meet the recovery needs of your loved one. Communicate effectively. Clear understanding between you and healthcare providers about medical needs is essential for cohesive care. Stay positive. A positive environment can significantly impact the healing process, fostering an atmosphere of hope and progress. Monitor health regularly. Keeping track of health developments allows for timely adjustments in care strategies, ensuring the best possible outcome. Embrace rehab programs. Rehabilitation programs can play a crucial role in building confidence and capability in those you care for. Organize medication administration. Accuracy and consistency in medication administration are critical for health and recovery. For those seeking additional support, the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging, BCAAA, offers invaluable resources. From access to durable medical equipment closets and home modification options to fall prevention strategies, BCAAA is here to assist in making your caregiving journey as safe and efficient as possible. Connect with a resource specialist today to explore how BCAAA can support your caregiving needs. Call 303-441-1617 or visit bouldercountyhelp.org and boco.org/caregiving for more information. Your role as a caregiver is immensely important, and you don't have to navigate it alone.
The Audio Information Network of Colorado wants to be sure you are conveniently and consistently receiving our broadcasts. If you are having any technical issues with your AINC equipment, or you just want to learn about the other options you have to listen to our programming, please call us at 303-786-7777, extension 108. That number again is 303-786-7777, 877, extension 108.